Let's talk about the oppression that we feel because you got a lot of folks that say it's not happening. There is no oppression. Everything's good, right? Well, let's look at Ecclesiastes 7:7. It says, "Surely oppression make a wise man mad." Right. So, for a number of us, we should be upset because we're oppressed and we've been oppressed. Our forefathers have been oppressed. It says, "And a gift destroy the heart." This is where you have a certain class of what you call black people, African Americans, after they've made so much money. The money is the gift. It destroys their heart. Now they've separated themselves from their people and they're saying there is no racism, there is nothing wrong, right? This is why the word of God is true. If a man speak, let him speak the oracles of God, right? You can't go wrong with the oracles of God. So from 1778 to 1881, once they settled here, talking about the Caucasian Esau and his offspring, Amalek, the Israeli, the wannabe Jew so bad that they hate to hear anybody else say that they are Jew. It infuriates them. But, the Southern Kingdom and the Jews or the tribe of Judah, it's predominantly a dark-skinned people, right? So once they settled here, they made and broke over 300 treaties with our forefathers from the Northern Kingdom, right? Because the Northern Kingdom made its way to this land before it was called America. It was called Arsarit. And you can find that history in 2nd Ezra 13. It tells you, how they made this trip, how long it took them, to get here, right? And from 1865 until now, they've made broken promises and delivered bad acts. Acts such as the Great Society, if you remember that, a real bad act, another broken promise. And all of this intentionally denying the posterity of the Southern Kingdom, which were later transported here on cargo ships via the Atlantic slave trade, which you got now some people trying to say that never happened. But our people came here, discovered or found this land before any other people were on this land. The Northern Kingdom did. And then we made our way here by way of cargo ship. So Ecclesiasticus 12:10, it says, "Never trust thine enemy." And unfortunately, a lot of people try to act like they don't even know, who or where an enemy is because the gift has destroyed their heart. "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rust, so is his wickedness." So it's like you could have iron, you could wipe off the rust, and it seems to be pretty good. But over time, that rust is going to come back, right? Deuteronomy 28:48, it says, "Therefore shall thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee." Now, why is the Lord sending this enemy against his people? He's sending the enemy against his people because his people are rebellious. They refuse to follow after the law of life that he gave his people for the heritage. His people want to be like the heathen, go after the heathen, the customs and traditions. So he turned, the enemy or the heathen against his people so that they would rule over his people to where the servants, are ruling over the masters. We are the masters of the universe because God chose us to lead the world in righteousness. We are of the children of God. We are of the kingdom of Israel. Okay. He says, "Therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger, thirst, nakedness, and in want of all things." Get this, because you want to know who the enemy is. You have a hard time trying to figure it out. Here, this tells you who the enemy is. "And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. Who put the yokes of iron upon our necks? Right? So that tells you who the enemy is and who God is talking about. Right? He says, until he have destroyed thee. And we are a destroyed people. We don't know our name. We don't know our heritage. We've forgotten our history. And here we are now trying to make this strong comeback, remembering we are Israel. We are the Israelites. These writings, these come from our ancestors. The people in the book, these are our forefathers. You jump down to number 68, Deuteronomy 28:68. He says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now, Egypt is synonymous, with bondage, slavery, right? Understanding the allegory here. And the Lord shall bring thee into slavery or bondage again with ships, by way whereof I spake unto thee. He says, thou shalt see it no more again. And ye shall be sold unto your enemies. There it is again. Ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. You know this happened, right? No man shall buy you. So there when he says no man shall buy you, so you got to see, he just said you're going to be sold to your enemies, right? We know that happens. So when he says, and no man shall buy you, it means nobody's going to be able to get us out of this. Nobody's going to be able to redeem us. There was a point where if you were indebted, there was a certain number. They could come along and say it was 10,000, 50,000, whatever it is, somebody could pay it and, you're free. But in this case, the Creator is saying nobody is going to be able to buy you or pay your way out of it. Only his strong arm is going to show the way through. Okay. First Ezra 8:85. Moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. As long as they are the enemy, we'll never have peace because they're seeking to rule the world in the manner or way that they, have put it into position. And we see what that is with respect to all the destruction, the death, the pain. I mean, they're running the earth into the ground, but it's all to the good because we got next. We have now, right? But we'll never have peace with them because the prophecy says that for them taking us into captivity, that they're going to go into captivity. Okay. You should never seek to have peace with them, that ye may be strong. See, we are going to return to our rightful place and we're going to be strong and we're not going to make any treaty with them. The only treaty that they're going to have is to be the servants and handmaids for the children of God in righteousness according to the goodwill and pleasure of the Lord our God. He says, and eat the good things of the land, because right now we don't get to eat the good things of the land. They're polluting everything, right? And that ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children forevermore. That goes back to honor thy mother and father, that thy days may be long in the earth. See, when we honor our mother and fathers, that means we are maintaining the law of life that God gave us for the heritage. We are keeping up our customs and traditions, and we get to stay on top. We get to rule over the other nations. So remember, as the Creator says, never trust thine enemy.